Hello, this is Basic Electronics Engineering. The course code is EC201. The contact hour is 3 lecture classes. The total contact hour is 36 hours. The credit point of this subject is 3. Myself, Dr. Indranath Sarkar. I am the Associate Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering of GIS College of Engineering, Kolladi. This course has 4 number of outcomes. We expect the students will be at the end of the course the student will be able to demonstrate PN junction diode, ideal diode, diode models and its circuit analysis, application of diode and special diodes. The student also will be explained how operational amplifiers are modeled and analyzed, and to design operational amplifier circuits to perform operations such as integration, differentiation on electronic signals. The students must analyze the concept of both positive and negative feedback in electronic circuits and its applications. The student must develop the capability to analyze and design simple circuits containing nonlinear elements such as transistors using the concept of load lines, operating points and the incremental analysis. This course is comprised of 6 number of modules. Each module has the number of class limited, that is 5 number of class assigned to module 1 on basic semiconductors, 7 contact hour assigned to module 2 on PN junction diode and its applications. Module 3 has 8 contact hour on bipolar junction transistor. Module 4 has field effect transistor to describe within 6 contact hour. 8 contact hour assigned to module 5 where feedback and operational amplifier will be discussed, and the 2 contact hour assigned to module 6 where the cathode ray oscilloscope will be discussed. This is the prerequisite required for basic electronics engineering. Normally prerequisites are essential to understand a certain course. In this case, as the students are entering after class 12 into BTech courses and the basic electronics engineering is studied in the first year, so here we expect the basic course of electronics engineering progress from the fundamentals of electricity, direct current, devices and circuits, series and parallel circuits, to the study of active and passive components, Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's law, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law, as well as Ampere's law. In the modern electronics part of the physics in the 10+2, all these items have been taught. So students should recapitulate these theory as well as mathematical formula before going to opt for basic electronics engineering. So therefore Kirchhoff's law, especially the Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law as well as Ampere's law, have plenty of applications in the design part of electronics devices, because basic electronics circuit is normally tells about the component description. That means there are several components exist in basic electronics engineering subject. All these components are defined, its characteristics defined, as well as the combination of such component may produce complex circuitry, and the categories of circuit and its input and output characteristics all have been defined. So basic electronics is an important subject. Here students are going through the description and characteristics of all these components, so that in future whenever they are interested about circuit realization, they shall recall about the characteristics they have studied in basic electronics engineering. And for this subject, the data sheet validation of each of these components are required to be carried out by the student, because some component whatever studied has limited features to be explained within the class, and there are detailed feature exists in the datasheet. If the student is interested to create some model, then student should deal with datasheet, the how to see the datasheet, and how what are the parametric values required to observe from the datasheet will be discussed in the class. So basic electronics engineering is one of the important subject for any engineering domain, because uh, nowadays there are many interdisciplinary projects are going on in which some electronic circuitry exists. So irrelevant of the department, electronic circuit may be applied to many issues. So that is why basic electronics has contribution about the basic characteristics understanding for those components. So students must give full attention about the characteristics as well as description, mathematical equation whenever discussed for each of the components. Now in the course outcome and program outcome mapping, we are seeing that there are 12 number of program outcomes which are mapped to the course outcome statements. So here, as 4 number of course outcome statement exist for basic electronics engineering, they are having different weightages assigned to each of the column of program outcomes. And here 3 depicts the high weightage assigned for a certain mapping, and 2 means the moderate linking, and 1 stands for the least linking. And when there is no link, it is kept vacant with a dash line. Now basic electronics is the foundation engineering subject, as well as it is the basic engineering subject. It has the uses of modern tools regarding the simulation of the circuits, as well as it has long-term relation to the student regarding the implementation of projects. So it's a lifelong learning weightage is very high, as well as various surrounding that is applications in the surrounding environment exist. That is why basic electronics engineering is mostly a foundation subject. That is why at the initial part of the program outcome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has a great linkage with basic electronics, as well as program outcome 11 and 12 are also. So if we look at the modern tool uses, as well as the project initiative, as well as the foundation engineering concept, we are getting higher weightage for the basic electronics engineering with those program outcomes. And similarly, if we have some long target, that is after a long duration, we have a target to implement certain circuitry which is useful for the mankind. That type of target may be fulfilled, and that is lifelong learning has a great importance on basic electronics engineering, because we sometimes we have a future target of implementing any circuit or applications for the mankind. So that is why basic electronics are getting higher weightage in that part. The course has objective impart fundamental knowledge to understand the basic of semiconductor and components like diode, transistor, FET, MOSFET, and operational amplifier. It will be it would build mathematical and numerical background for design of electronic circuit and components value. Students equipped with the knowledge and training provided in the course will be able to participate in the design and development and operation in the different area of electronic systems. So therefore basic electronics has a widest domain of application, because it is dealing with the components which are required to implement electronic circuitry. So all the basic components are included regarding its description, input characteristics, output characteristics. So that is why whenever there is a project related work, basic electronics recalled. So that is why it has a long time application for students of any department, because in any department there is a project realization with electronic circuitry. For any domain, it involves the concept of various components of basic electronics. So therefore, this subject is truly important for any department. We are discussing feedback amplifier. Today's topic are feedback amplifier advantages and disadvantages, internal stages of feedback amplifier, closed loop gain of feedback amplifier, desensitizing gain of feedback amplifier. In the last video, we discussed about the basic amplifier, also categories of basic amplifier. Normally in basic amplifier, there are some limitations. That is, gain of the basic amplifier may vary due to internal parametric variations. The impedances which could be enhanced using basic amplifier has some shortcomings. There are some shortcomings about the increase of the operating bandwidth. So these limitations could be resolved using additional circuitry which is known as feedback network. So if a basic amplifier is associated with additional circuitry which is called feedback network, which can collect sample of output and that will be mixed with the incoming signal source for effective input to the basic amplifier, then there are various advantages we can achieve, and the resultant circuit is known as feedback amplifier circuit. So in feedback amplifier, there are some advantages which could be listed out. So first is the stability. Second is operating bandwidth. This is impedance enhancement. And the fourth is distortion. Distortion could be reduced. Now let us see one by one. What is stability? Stability means for a basic amplifier, say using BJT, you already have seen that if the internal parameters vary, suppose the base emitter voltage or beta due to the replacement of transistor, then what will happen? The operating point will be shifted, and once the operating point is shifted, it has a great impact on the amplification. So that type of internal parametric variation could be made insensitive if there is an additional circuit which is called feedback network could be employed in association with the basic amplifier. Operating bandwidth. Operating bandwidth is the range of frequency for which the amplifier operates. Now this could be increased for feedback amplifier. Impedance enhancement. Sometimes we need higher input impedance for basic amplifier. So if we use feedback network in association with the basic amplifier, this input impedance could be enhanced. That is, it could be increased if it is required. If it is required to decrease, it could be decreased. Similarly, the output impedances cases. Then comes the distortion reduction. Distortion reduction means there are two types of distortion. One is the amplitude distortion, another is the frequency distortion. Now, normally we require unaltered amplitude at the output of the amplifier. So that type of amplitude invariance could be achieved using feedback amplifier. If it is varying with respect to time, then it is called a distortion. So amplitude distortion could be reduced. Similarly, there is a frequency distortion which could be reduced using feedback amplifier. That is, if the operating frequency, the range of operating frequency in which the amplifier action is making some non-linearity, so that is known as the frequency distortion. And if we use the feedback amplifier, this amplitude non-linearity or frequency non-linearity could be resolved. There are some disadvantages of feedback amplifier. The first is gain reduction. The gain reduction is why? Because we already have told that operating bandwidth could be increased. So once you are increasing the operating bandwidth, the gain has to reduce, because gain bandwidth product is always constant for any electronic devices.
So therefore, reduction in gain we have to admit if we want to increase the operating bandwidth. And there is no harm because we have some requirement of the gain. So within that requirement, if it is reduced, then it is acceptable. So reduction in gain must be within a required limit. And the second is improper design. Suppose we are designing the feedback amplifier and the design is become improper. So at that time, the gain instability may occur, and that is obvious. For every design, we should be careful about the instability of the system design. So this is improper design. So now let us move to discuss about the various block diagram sections of the feedback amplifier. Now these are the various sections of feedback amplifier in which we have designed that first is the signal source, thereafter mixing network, thereafter basic amplifier, and then sampling network, and finally load. And this is the feedback network. Now what happens, how it operates? The signal source is normally applied to the basic amplifier when the feedback network is absent. But when the feedback network is present, at that time it collects fractional output signal through the sampling network. So sampling network responsibility is to collect a part of the output signal to be applied to the feedback network, and that feedback network produces the output which is the fraction of the output signal, actual output signal, to the mixing network. And the responsibility of mixing network is to mix the signal source along with the fractional output, so that the resultant signal will be applied to the basic amplifier to produce the actual output of the feedback amplifier. So all this arrangement has been done only to receive those advantages which we have listed before this discussion. So this is all about the feedback amplifier sections. Now what about the mixing network and the sampling network? We need to clear about it. So these two type of network is either series connection or shunt connection. So these are the two type of connection can be extensively used whenever there is a requirement of mixing network, similarly for the sampling network. Now what is series connection? Series connection will look like this. This is simply series, that is for electrical network also we have seen when the switch is connected it comes in series. So one line is directly fed, in another line there is a cut, and within this if we connect it is called series connection. Similarly, what is shunt? Shunt means parallel. So if we have this type of tapping, this is known as shunt connection. So therefore this is series connection and this one is shunt connection. So why it is shunt? Because whatever is the potential across these two lines, that will be equal to the potential of these 2 points. So potential equality is known as shunt connection, and series means the total current will flow through this network. So therefore it is the series connection. Now let us go to the next topic. Now from this block diagram we can calculate some mathematical derivation. So for which some simplified block diagram I am drawing. Now this is the simplified block diagram for feedback amplifier. The signal source is feeding the XS signal to the feedback amplifier, and here feedback network, FBN stands for feedback network, has a fraction beta. So what is beta? Beta is the fraction that will be multiplied with the output. Therefore fraction of output will be fed back to the input signal. So XF is the feedback signal, and this signal is subtracted from the signal source, and we are getting the effective input which will be amplified to get the output signal. So here what we can write, what is Xi? We can write Xi is equal to difference between Xs and Xf. And what is Xf? It is the fractional output. Beta is the fraction. And amplifier has gain A, therefore X0 is A times Xi. So we can easily get three equations. Now this equation, say let it be equation 1, equation 2, and this is equation 3. So equation 2 could be replaced in equation 1, so that beta X0 could be replaced here, and this Xi finally could be replaced here, so that we can get some overall gain expression. So 2 into 1 gives you Xi equal to Xs minus beta X0. So let it be equation 4. This equation 4 we are replacing in equation 3, therefore we are getting X0 equal to A into Xs minus beta X0. So from this, if we simplify, or X0 equal to AXS minus beta into A to X0, and therefore finally if you take X0 common, you are getting 1 plus A beta is equal to from this equation we can take the ratio, that is X0 by Xs is equal to A by 1 plus A beta. So this is the overall gain due to feedback amplification. So therefore this is defined as AF, that is overall gain due to feedback. So it is very much clear that without feedback we are getting gain A, but due to feedback we are getting something which is reduction of this value, that is A divided by 1 plus A beta. Therefore this 1 plus A beta, which is called the amount of feedback, is also known as the desensitivity factor. The next topic is how we are desensitizing the gain using feedback. So desensitizing gain using feedback. We already have seen that using feedback we can write AF equal to A by 1 plus A beta. So if you take a derivative with respect to A, then you can write dAF by dA, that is 1 plus A beta minus A into beta divided by 1 plus A beta whole square. So this gives you, it is equal to 1 by 1 plus A beta whole square. Now here dAF could be written as so we are getting dAF equal to dA by this. So let it be equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now we have to divide equation 2 by equation 1. So therefore what we are getting finally, so finally we are getting this type of expression. So this is a very important relation that gives us the result of desensitizing of gain using feedback. We already have seen that using feedback, whatever gain we are getting, that has been a reduction of overall gain of basic amplifier. So here what we are getting, it is a changing gain due to feedback, because this is a changing gain and this is the feedback amplifier gain. So therefore per unit changing gain, and this is the per unit changing gain without feedback. Okay, so this is due to feedback and this is without feedback. So without feedback, whatever changing gain we can observe, that will be reduced by a factor 1 plus a beta to get the changing gain due to feedback. So therefore changing gain due to feedback has been made more insensitive over the changing gain without feedback. So this is the way by which we can prove that the desensitivity factor, which is 1 plus a beta, can desensitize the gain without feedback of a basic amplifier. So therefore this equation is very, very important to prove that the changing gain has been become very much insensitive due to the feedback. So in the next video we will discuss about various topologies of feedback amplifier and associated mathematical derivations.